Everybody sold, trying to get out. People jumped out windows. Everybody lost everything they had. Guess who bought? The Rockefellers, Goldman Sachs, the same cast of characters made money out of that crash. They caused it. They made money out of our crash. When people were selling, they were buying. Underportioned taxes on labor, income tax. The Constitution says everybody's supposed to pay the same. They want an apportioned tax. We've got hundreds of thousands of pages of tax law. And if you're really rich and you know what you're doing, you don't pay anything. Privacy clauses of the Fourth Amendment. Patriot Act, RFID chips. Do you know that Gillette blades, anyone that uses the old blades, that Gillette actually put an RFID chip on the blades without telling anybody and sold them? So they knew if you were shaving at 2 o'clock in the morning in your bathroom, they knew where that blade was. They could find it on a satellite. All of these RFID chips they're trying to put in your licenses. Some people say, well, that's a good thing. You go up there, they read it. Yeah, but they're going to know exactly where you were, at what time, who you are, who's in your car. We don't need that kind of stuff. So there's lawsuits on them, and they're at the end. The court has said no more. Failure to execute the laws. The president and members of Congress take an oath to defend the Constitution and obey the laws and enforce them. Well, we have a lot of immigration laws on the books that aren't being enforced. They're looking the other way. So that's one of the issues. We went to court. The We the People organization said, hey, you got these laws, enforce them. It doesn't say you can't enforce them, you have a choice, you got to enforce them. No standing. President requirement, natural born citizen. There's a lot of people have a lot of opinions about this. My only question is, why would somebody pay $2 million last year to avoid showing a birth certificate? It's an issue. Not with the press, though. They don't care. It's old news, they said. It's old news. But there's a lawsuit on that. And the lawsuit went to a certain level, and the court said, oh, you're just an American citizen. You don't have any standing. Well, then they had another lawsuit with Alan Keyes. Alan Keyes was a vice presidential candidate, Independent Party or Constitution Party or something. And he said, Constitution Party, he said, well, if Obama and Biden were kicked out because he wasn't a natural-born citizen, then I would still be a viable candidate. Maybe I would have won. Court said, no standing. It's a cover-up. It's a cover-up from all. Where's the one House of Representatives person, one senator? I think there is one guy from the House now that said, prove you're a citizen. But where's the investigation? Prove that you're a citizen, a natural-born citizen. It's avoided. It's an issue that they just want to go away.
But there are way bigger problems than that.
Yeah, but it's an issue.
But there are way bigger.
The importance of that issue could be in 7 years from now, they prove that he's not a natural-born citizen, every piece of legislation that he signed is invalid. So it's an issue. It's one of many issues. The right to petition for a redress of grievances. They're completely ignoring the people, the government is. Private property rights. Kelo versus New London, we talked about the one in Brooklyn. They're ignoring those rights. The nationalization of health care, here we are. It's about control, 16,500 IRS agents to make sure you pay. How's that going to help? It's only going to hurt the people that are already paying. People who don't pay now, what do they care? Not going to affect them at all. The Federal Reserve, question. Now, if you know the answer to this, please don't answer. I want people who are just not quite sure, then take a guess. I'll ask you to take a guess. Which department of the federal government is the Federal Reserve? Is it the Treasury Department? Raise your hand. Who thinks it's in the Treasury Department? How about the Banking Department? Wow. You guys know the answer. Okay. For those out there that maybe don't know, it's a private group of bankers. They do have a charter from the United States. They were created by the federal government, but they're private bankers. created in 1913. Here we are, almost 100 years later. We don't know who the shareholders are. Some people say, oh, I think it's this guy. Sometimes you'll see a list out there somewhere. But we don't really know. It's private. They handle trillions of our dollars. When Congress, the House of Representatives, questioned the Inspector General for the Federal Reserve, they said, can you tell us where these trillions of dollars have gone that we've given you? And she said, no, I can't tell you that. Because if we told you who we gave the money to, you'd know they were in trouble. Now, if you go to a bank and try to get a loan on a car, you've got to give them everything. Now, we're talking trillions of dollars. A private organization with our money, and they won't tell us? That's a red flag. They should be not only audited, they should be investigated as a criminal enterprise. These are crooks, whoever they are. But we don't really know who they are. That's the scary part, and no one's ever asked. Or if they did, they didn't tell them. It's not a traded company. It's 200 shares of private company. It doesn't have to be public. So I hope they get audited. But that's part of the government. Here's probably the first international banker, Meyer Rothschild, and his quote was, from the late 1700s, let me issue and control the nation's money, he didn't say like the Federal Reserve, and I care not who writes the laws. They don't care. Their motive is to get us deeper and deeper to debt, so the more we owe them. Just about every country in the world now is having the same problem. All going into debt. I don't think there's one country that's not. China. If we all, the thing about China is if we all crash, we won't be able to buy anything from China and they're going to crash. So anyway, the opposite of that, who warned us early on, was Thomas Jefferson. If the American people ever allow private banks, like the Federal Reserve, to control the issue of their money first by inflation and then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow around them will deprive the people of their property until their children will wake up homeless on a continent that their father conquered. We're on that road. If this system collapses, what are we going to do? We'll probably survive up here in Columbia County better than they will in New York City. 2 days, they'll be out of food. They'll be up here. That's why people got their guns. But if the system collapses, if it's allowed to collapse, we watched a tape the other night down at the Campaign for Liberty location down in Germantown. And it was a quote, what are you going to do about these people, the population? And one of our billionaire inventors, let's say, of, was it Google? No. Bill Gates. What's he? Microsoft. Bill Gates is on tape saying, what are you going to do about the population? And he says, vaccinations. So you may think, that some, huh?
And healthcare.
Yes, and healthcare. But you may think that some of these people are, great humanists and they're going to use their money for all these good reasons. They still want to stay in control. They still want to be up there. It's you that they're going to try and select out. It's coming.